Yeah, let's go.
Hello, theme park fans, and welcome to episode 85 of the E-Ticket Report. My name is Chris Wakefield, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Jalen Harvey.
Hey, y'all, what's going on?
Ryan Barr.
Howdy.
And Tommy Hawkins.
Hello, but I'd like to be known as Sax Gutberg or whatever you said it.
Sax, Coburg, and Goter.
That's Tommy, Sax, Coburg, and Goter, please.
To start the show, we got a special guest on. As you know, we went on a trip to Orlando last month and had a few days at Universal. So Aria is here to talk to you about her trip to Orlando. You want to ask her any questions?
Aria, did you have a nice time at Disney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't do Disney. We did Universal.
Oh, sorry. Is that why? Because I talk about Disney and she gets upset at the thought of it.
The cruise was Disney.
Yeah.
What did we do on our trip to Universal?
We did dinosaurs,
Yeah, with Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park,
Did you ride Velocicoaster?
roller coaster.
Did you ride it?
Yeah.
No, you did it.
I ride Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was good. Yeah.
Did you
With
go
all
on
the bad guys.
With all the bad guys on it. Yeah. Do you remember their name?
Oh.
The Sinister Six. Doc Ock, yeah. Who else was there? Electra.
Retro.
Yeah. What else did we do?
I don't know.
Did we do Dr. Seuss?
Dr. Seuss.
How was that?
Not good.
Not good. You didn't like it?
Oh, no.
Oh, I didn't know that. Grandma was
Did you
watching
go on...
Why?
While we rode Velocicoaster, Grandma took you to Velocicoaster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go on Pteranodon Flyers?
Did we go up in the air on that ride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flying over? Yeah?
Yeah.
What else did we do? Did we do Harry Potter?
Yeah.
How was that?
Good.
Yeah. Was the train fun?
Yeah.
Was it scary?
No.
No. Okay. You have anything else to say about your trip?
What was your favourite thing, Aria? Most favourite thing in the whole wide world on your trip?
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah.
How was the food?
The food tasting good.
Yeah. Did we meet Beetlejuice again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we close down the kids zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we splashed in there and played in the ball pit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to miss it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are they going to put there next? You know?
Dinosaurs.
More dinosaurs?
No. Puppies.
Puppies? Oh, okay. We'll see if they have the rights to that.
Okay.
Okay, good trip report. Say talk to you later.
Talk you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Aria.
Okay.
Bye, kiddo.
She coughs up a lung next to me. Okay, go eat.
Quick.
Yeah, I got it.
That was quick.
That was quick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brevity is the soul of wit.
Yeah.
Okay, go eat. So yeah, that was Universal. We also did a day at
Daddy?
Typhoon Lagoon. No, Blizzard Beach. Because Typhoon Lagoon's closed, right?
It's usually
Yeah.
one and a half of them are closed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I have no idea.
Typhoon's been closed for like years now. That thing's not going to open back up.
No. Typhoon
No, Typhoon's been
reopened.
open.
Blizzard. Typhoon just closed since Blizzard Beach opened.
Yeah.
I thought no. I
Blizzard's-
could have.
Blizzard
No,
was the
I
one
went
that's been
to
closed since the pandemic. and
No. We
finally
did.
reopened.
We did Blizzard Beach. Typhoon is closed because we did Blizzard because the ship wasn't up on top of the thing. We did the Summit Plummet. So Typhoon's the one that's closed.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
talking
now.
before you went.
Yeah, before you went, it was Blizzard. Blizzard had
Been closed
okay.
since the pandemic up till
Okay.
the summer.
Okay.
So what was that? I was listening to a bit of it earlier. Like Len went to the Reedy Creek meeting and asked some question, and they said that like the plan's got another minor park, and he asked what that meant, and they're like, oh, like a water park or something. So how does that fit in if they eventually have a third water park when they can't even keep two open?
I could see them. Well, I could see them doing something like, what's the SeaWorld one that's like $1,000 a day and it's really limited?
Aquatica
Cove.
Aquatica. Is that what it is?
No, Discovery Cove. where you
Discovery
swim
Cove.
with the-
Discovery Cove.
Yeah, I could see them doing something like that.
Well,
But it's Galactic Star Cruiser we'll talk about that later. That's failing miserably, so maybe not.
I could see another water park easily. It's easy attendance, easy sales.
I think we got lucky. We were there on, I think, New Year's Eve. I thought it'd be freezing cold. It was not warm, but it wasn't cold. And the water was heated, and we did all the slides. And she did the Frozen splash, the new Frozen thing that she loved. So, and it's funny because when you look at a theme park ticket, you go, oh my God, that's too much. And then you look at a water park ticket, like $70, that's easy. I can do that any day.
That's perfect.
So we jumped on that. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like nothing.
It's
compared
like
to a park hopper.
$40.
Yeah.
If you come down here during the summertime, I did H2O Glow, and it was my first time ever doing a Disney water park. Would do it again. $50 right out the gate. Like, it was perfect.
Is that like an after hours?
Yeah, it was an after hours event. It was really
Okay.
chill, just $50, and we got on everything. I like it way more.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is that going in the middle of winter like we did last month, there was we had the park to ourselves almost. We didn't wait much for anything, so I'd recommend that. We didn't do Volcano Bay because she didn't want to, because there was Frozen at Blizzard Beach, so she was all over Frozen.
Oh, so Frozen at Blizzard Beach, that's like one of them things where everyone on Twitter tells you that, oh, they've rethemed it to like Frozen and therefore it's shit and no one should go there.
Well, it's not
about that.
It could be better, but again, for a 3.5-year-old like her, it had Anna, Elsa, and the snowman in the water and a couple of kiddie slides. She was all over it. It could have been better, yes, but you could tell it was value engineered.
I mean, there's more to the kids area at Volcano Bay for sure, but they're also redoing the family rafts at Blizzard Beach. They're redoing the entire thing, like they're restructuring it almost.
What do you mean? We went on it. It was open.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a great.
No, I could have sworn Bio posted pictures of it like being rebuilt.
Unless it just closed down in the last 2 weeks. We were just there a few weeks ago.
The one that's up on the hill, right?
Yeah, the big one. Yeah, it's long. It's like a 4-minute ride. It's long.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good. Would recommend. Had a great time on New Year's Eve night at a club in Orlando. I forget the name of it, but it's funny too because I posted pictures. And the next morning, people were messaging me on Twitter like, I was there too, and I was there too. But it was like 3 or 4 different clubs they had opened all at once, and they were connected. So by my 4th or 5th drink, I didn't see any. It was a blur. So if you saw me at this club in Orlando, I'm forgetting the name of it. Nice to see you, but I didn't see you.
We didn't catch any of that.
We didn't hear any of that. But from the tail end that we got, it's probably just as well, because it just sounded like you was a hot mess on New Year's Eve. Is that the summary?
I wasn't a hot mess. I was comfortable.
Was you Jalen passed out on a bench, then Alicia finds him and takes pity on him drunk, or was you just kind of...
It was the 50th anniversary. Get off my ass.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, I was sober enough to drive us back to our hotel on iDrive, so.
Yeah, we can't.
We
can barely hear you.
Anything but iDrive. Wait. You using Spectrum, buddy?
No, I've got T-Mobile 5G.
Oh,
now
Lord.
it's better.
Yeah,
But,
I was sober enough to drive us back to our hotel on iDrive, our resort. So
Okay, that was good. You're not going to tell them how you were stalking me?
so this is the thing. The name of the club, by the way, was Southern Nights in Orlando.
God.
Oh, that's a good one. Love Southern Nights. Great one.
So one day, like our second or third day there, we're at Disney Springs, right? And we had 7 or 8 of us for this trip. I get everyone out of the car. We pull into the Lime Garage or Orange Garage, whatever it is, walking up to security, and I see Jay, right? And I go, hey, Jay. He just ignores me, walks right past me. I'm walking behind him for like 10 freaking minutes. Jay, Jay, nothing. Just ignored me. Big time me. Like, no.
Okay, here's the thing, folks.
On his way to meet some white people, he didn't have time for me.
Wow. 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 I would have gave you I would have gave half of you the time of day.
Right, can we just let's talk about the Victoria / Albert sized elephant in the room. What's the status of the bet?
It's still no, stop. I reached out months ago, and you all are proof.
You want me to be all friendly in public, calling out my name. I don't even know he's coming to see me. I don't even know that he's there. So if you call out my name and I have no recollection of, or I know that you're coming up, send a text or something. Like when you send the text, fine. But like, I'm not going to turn around. No.
When someone calls your name.
Especially when I have my headphones in.
So you're saying you would have turned around if you'd had a date and time for the meal? Is that what you're saying?
You all are witness because you're all on the text thread. I looked for dates. There were no dates open for the dates I was there. It was the middle.
You just told us that.
It was Christmas week.
We ain't talking no second party.
It was Christmas week. I tried months in advance.
Goddamn charlatan is what you are.
You should have made a compromise. Should have made another reservation.
Yeah, found a restaurant that's just called Victoria's or one that's called Albert's and took him there. Like
the Asian
Victoria's buffet. Asian buffet downtown Orlando. Oh, next to the Greasy Spoon Cafe, that kind of vibe.
I would maybe cut Wakefield. But
Jalen, when you do go to Victoria and Albert's, you should pull a what's his name from Seinfeld, Banya. Just order a soup and then say you owe me another meal. That wasn't a full meal.
All right, while we're on the subject of trip reports, since this is officially a cruise podcast, I'll talk about my latest cruise on the Norwegian Pearl real quick. I took a solo cruise, 3 nights on the Pearl. Norwegian Cruise Line is not for me. Not my vibe, not as fun as Royal Caribbean. The casino was too small. The food was pretty good, but just not my jam on Norwegian Cruise Line. So we're back to Royal and Disney, obviously. And it was freezing cold. It was 50 degrees with 60-mile-an-hour winds, so it was too cold to even go swimming.
Whew. Well, that's why it's Norwegian, right?
Yeah, exactly. They brought the weather with them. So maybe our cruise next month will be better. A quick cruise again next month, and then real quick, we'll get some more theme park news, but remind me at the end of the show to give you the link to our Target baby registry. I need every listener to buy one thing from my baby registry. My baby will be here. Be quiet, Jay. My baby will be here in 8 weeks. Yeah, 7 weeks. So I need diapers and car seats and some socks and clothes and formula and stuff. So before we leave, I'll give you all the link to my Target baby registry.
All 15 of you.
Yes. That's if you all buy diapers, that's a lot of diapers for me.
Are there Pokemon cards on there? I'll get some Pokemon cards.
Where do we start with this theme park news? Ryan, we'll get to your trip report here soon, I promise. But where do we start with theme park news? Do you want to start with Nintendo or do you want to start with Mickey and Minnie's?
Let's go chronologically.
Should we start with how Disney were having a fantastic week, drip feeding all these tiny little bits of super important news? Oh
my God!
We took a parking fee away that we only put on a couple of years ago. What was something? Oh, here's a date for Tron that everyone knew was going to be April for months. What were some of the other ones? There was other little.
I love you too.
The little bits of news, the super important things.
I mean,
they told us.
Yeah, because that was all at the same time. You get all those at the same time when it came to those.
Yeah, my point is, Disney were well into their PR push for their week, where they thought, "Oh, we're having a good week. We can drop this and this and this, get the buzz." And then what happened? What happened, guys?
Not much. I mean, Nintendo. I mean, was this all to steal heat from Nintendo in Hollywood?
I think it was also to
And then Universal
that's not what happened, guys. Tell us, Ryan.
The theme park in Texas, and then
they just
the Horror
out
Nights
of nowhere dropped a theme park out of nowhere and a year-round Halloween Horror Nights in Vegas. Just completely
just dropped in.
Pissed in their chips, didn't they?
Tragic.
Yeah, they know when Disney. Well, it also wasn't a lot of huge stuff by Disney, so maybe it was Disney trying to shake something out of Universal.
Yeah, didn't we? We talked about that, didn't we? But whereas the Universal thing, because it was set up through the Frisco County and all the rest of it, that would have been penciled for a long time, right? So that wasn't something that they would just put together on the fly. That was planned well ahead to have that announcement.
Yeah.
So perhaps it was Disney trying to do a bit of damage limitation, but
I was either thinking that, or maybe also to kind of placate to the whole Splash Mountain thing closing. Given that as soon as Splash Mountain closed, they want to have another big e-ticket to kind of eat up those crowds. And I think it's a great job that they did that with Tron. I'm actually now finally excited for Tron, knowing that I'm probably going to be riding it next month. So,
what about the awkward where they tried to be all clever with the? They tried to do like a little drip feed thing, which just didn't really hit, did it? Something with the dates. They were trying to get people talking about the dates, and then they just dropped the date the next day anyway.
No, they never even told the dates for. Well, I think they told the dates for cast members, but aside from that, they haven't told anything with pass holders either. I have no idea how they're going to roll that thing out. They've just been kind of, like you said, drip feeding things here and there. Heck, we still haven't got our pass holder. They just said that we are going to get pass holder previews. That's it. We don't have no date. It's damn near February. Who knows? But we know that it opens up.
You could
April
probably
4th.
look at some of the others and kind of see the timelines that they did, but it's usually a couple of weeks, right? It's hard for me to keep track.
Guardians, we knew like a month in, at least 3 weeks in advance. I feel like we knew, and same thing with Rat. Like we knew about 3 weeks in advance. So this is.
We had the full. It was properly announced, wasn't it? So we had CMs, and then we had that was before. That was at the very end of April. Then we knew that media were in on the second, from the 4th until the 6th, like 3 days. And then we knew we had Club 33 and other thing on the 7th. And then DVC followed straight after that, didn't they? That week, that following Sunday onwards. So it was like a set period of time that we knew a while ahead of what was going on. And then
it was a big week for signs.
Oh my God!
And sightlines. Don't even talk about the sightlines.
It started with sightlines was even before then, but this week we had signs like Disney must order all their signs to arrive at the same time. We got the signs at Epcot, in the parking lot, and then the signs for Disney's 100th the same day, with just incorrect information across the board. And then this statue shows up at Disneyland on Main Street with a quote. It all started with a mouse.
It's
I won't lie, I can't keep up with that because people kept posting both, just assuming that everybody knows. I've got no idea which was right, the ride one or the statue one.
That quote shows up again in the Runaway Railway queue. That quote is on a banner.
Is that important though?
And it's also in quotations.
Is that an important thing to stress out about or worry about or nitpick about, do you think?
No, technically no. I mean, they're not saying who it's quoting. It's just in quotations.
This is a little weird. I will say that's one of those things that's...
Yeah.
It's like... It's just a quick Google search, guys. Like, y'all could just... I get that not everybody in the company is going to be completely...
But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a proper, they brainstormed it and gone, oh, well, that doesn't quite fit with the ride and with the experience and the story. And, let's change it. And, I can imagine them having this whole discussion about it and then deciding. I think this speaks to
this and those messed up signs for Disney 100. It speaks to the lack of institutional knowledge in that place that's just been sucked out of there in the last 5 or 6 years. We talked about this last year, the brain drain, and this is one of the consequences, as small as it might be, this is one of the consequences of that happening when you continuously lay people off or threaten to move them to Florida for some reason.
That's true.
That's a big thing in business. Companies are afraid of losing that institutional knowledge. Who's going to be here to tell people how this works if everyone's been here for no more than 3 years?
Well, I don't think it's that important. I mean, it's just a sign. Like, again, it's just a Google thing. Do you know when Alien Encounter opened? Like, I don't think it really.
So details don't matter at Disney?
It's that big of a deal.
You can just print
just
false
fix the
stuff,
sign.
incorrect stuff. Details don't matter anymore.
I'm not saying that you should have it
difference.
incorrected, but I just feel like this is something that can be easy. I don't think you need to know it like by heart. You should just Google this. That's my only thing is just Google this, and now that you know that it's wrong, just easily, you have all the money. Tomorrow, just set up there and said that they got all the money in the world. Just get back in the lab, print a new one out, and throw
it could have easily just gotten mixed up on like the, I don't know, like the people who made it, like could have been not even involved in Imagineering or something. I don't know.
That
could have just been a print shop somewhere and they got it mixed up.
But at some point,
you've got that.
Shouldn't that have been caught? Like this is one of a few mistakes or a few things that we've seen. This is another thing on the pile of. This is not a thing in a vacuum. This keeps happening. Why?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, once is a mistake. 2 or 3 times, there's something systematic going on within the process, within the organization. Something is broken.
Right,
This keeps
you talked
happening.
about the last few years. When was the road signs that had Ekpot or whatever it was? Well, the stuff, Derek's written loads of articles like over the years about stuff, like, and then like stuff from back in the day. I can't believe that this is a new thing. Well, like the thing, like the simple one, like the sign that they put out the other day, where it was at something lightening lane instead of lightning, like things like that are just like you just read it wrong and not bothered to get someone. That to me is like a simple thing of like that. There's not a process where someone just goes, "Okay, can you check that I've done this sign right before I print it off?" Yeah, that looks right to me, and then they go print it off. Do you know what I mean? Like that seems
just
like
a quick double
thing.
check.
Yeah. And that's a common word in there. There's a common word in that vocabulary. Like, surely they see lightning every day, so they know that it's not lightening. It's just been done on a phone quickly or something,
I mean, if this were to happen at my job, my boss would sit me down and go, "Whoa, we got to figure this out because this isn't acceptable." And it's not acceptable. And for an organization, like I've said, that has made its money, has built its history on attention to detail, and just the smallest of things we pay attention to. And all of a sudden, in the last 5-6 years, that's not happening anymore. That should be a red flag. And
the only way to fix this is we gotta open up Walt's brain early and get him back.
Yeah.
Unfreeze him.
That's the only way to fix this.
Yeah, because he's going to be up, because he's already like, we might as well get him back because, he's going to be pissed off about that ride that they just shut. Like,
he'll be horrified by the whole world.
30 years after he died. Yeah, that one. He's going to be mad. He's going to be mad about that.
Boys and girls, that's what we call a segue. So Simpler Times Mountain is closed. And a lot happened here. We'll start with Jay. Give us your raw
I remember this being really popular.
And thoughts on the closure of Splash Mountain.
Well, I think everybody is excited at the fact that Splash Mountain is closed and we're finally going to get a Boondocks attraction.
Oh my God. Could you imagine?
Could you imagine?
I would buy an annual pass.
That would go a little too far. Oh my God. I don't even know what that would look like. I have no idea what a Boondocks attraction would look like, but good God. Anyway, it's good that they're finally getting rid of the thing. I just wish they would kind of speak up about why they're doing it. They like to push out the whole Tiana thing. They pimp out Tiana during like one major month, and it's February for like Black History Month and also Mardi Gras. So with this new attraction, they're really pushing that this is a Black princess, this is her ride, this and the third. But when the video where you have all the Black creators around talking and you don't let them say the word Black because you're scared or whatever, it just kind of seems like you're not really doing this because you care. It's more so you care about how it looks, not why something is, but more so how it looks.
Well,
so
okay. Let me mansplain here a little bit. Okay, thank you. One, Tiana is a very popular princess. She's one of the top-selling princesses. Yeah. So this was a money decision, first of all. It wasn't just a random like, oh, we gotta have someone Black. How about Tiana? she is still a top-selling princess. So don't discount that. There's money to be made in that. And you mentioned on your Twitter thread that was really good and got spread pretty far, Jay, about how Disney should be acknowledging the history and the past of this. I can tell you right now, as someone who consults with businesses, oftentimes I tell them, don't focus on that negative. Like, that's in the past, that's done. You weren't a part of that. Who's here now and working on it? Don't even draw attention to that. Just move on. Eyes forward.
Yeah.
Because there's no money to be made from a business standpoint. There's no money to be made at digging up, quote unquote, the history.
I don't think it's about the money. It's more so just about being earnest about it, because it doesn't look like you care that Splash Mountain was bad. You let it run for like what, 20, 30 years after you knew that it was like bad. You're just doing it because you know that racial tensions in this country are getting higher and higher, and you just want to bury this and get rid of it and be done with it. And
see, I think it's two things. I think it's that point, and I think it's Tiana makes a lot of money with merch. So it was a peanut butter and chocolate moment. I don't think it was just one exclusively.
No, because that ride was coming to its end for a long time. Yeah. I genuinely do believe that they had plans for. They'd already probably decided that Tiana would be probably the best way to move away from Splash. However, what happened in June 2020 expedited that announcement. Yeah. So that was clear that was rushed. I don't personally believe that they woke up one day and suddenly grew a conscience and went, guys, look what's happening on the news. We need Tiana now. Like, it was inevitable. The ride come to its natural end. It was getting to the point where, or both of them, they're getting to the point where it was costing them way more to just try and maintain and keep that ride alive. It needed to go down for a considerable downtime. That obviously coincided with needing to reskin it, to refresh it, and just make it something new.
And they had that concept art out pretty quickly too. Like, that was a quick, like, oh, here, we already have this.
So that must have been there, right? So I'm not saying that they had the plan for how they were going to do the ride. I'm not saying that they had the story. They had the idea that that's where they were going with that ride.
And we see this a lot, Jay, when we talk about striking a balance between when minorities say and marginalized communities say, give us something. And then the company goes, here. And then we go, well, you're just trying to just doing that because, or you're just tokenizing us. When they're like, well, you asked for something, here's something, and now you're saying that's not good. Like, so it's difficult to strike that balance because you don't want to seem like you're tokenizing a community, especially for profit. But that happens a lot in business in the corporate world.
Don't get me wrong, I get it. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I get it.
I guess what I'm saying is that there's no real earnesty in business, and that's kind of the
perfect
thing.
Yeah. Don't expect Disney to do a deep dive on racial relations and Song of the South and Walt meeting with the head of the NAACP. Don't expect that documentary because there's no money from Disney's standpoint. There's no money in that.
I just feel like this is something, because you won't acknowledge that this is just going to always be something that it's like what's done in the dark.
It's going to be something they could always capitalize off of if everyone changes their mind.
Yeah.
Like they still have those Splash Mountain fans.
And Jay, you might be a little bit too, I hate to say it, too online, because most families of color and Black people are just going to show up and go, oh my God, a Tiana ride, cool. They're not going to go, well, I didn't like it that much because they didn't discuss this thing 10 years ago when they should have. They're just going to go, oh my God, a Tiana ride. Let's ride it and buy some Tiana plush and eat at Tiana's restaurant. And that'll be it. The vast, vast, vast majority will do that.
Can I ask something of you two guys? If that instead of them having that conversation, which you, like Jay, you obviously feel that they should have, and they didn't do that, if they, instead of saying something, acknowledging like that this was just the start of a concerted effort to be genuinely more inclusive. So, we're at the cusp of Little Mermaid coming out, the live action. And I personally believe it's going to do incredibly well.
It looks so good.
I think that will put put that princess back in. You know, they already cast it. They already want, you know, a black mermaid to be in one of the live shows. Is it Disney World or Disneyland? I can't remember. But they're already thinking about that. So, but they already, in the back of their minds, they know that it probably is going to do really, really well. So what I'm kind of saying is, would you be happy with, instead of them having that conversation, and like you said, Chris, like not focus on the negative, but focus on the positive and going, right, look, instead of us saying all these words, which may or may not placate you, if we just prove that we genuinely, but you know, we want to represent everybody and just continue to show every couple of years something that actually, you know,
well, the best apology
parts of the community, because any community, right? You can't please the whole entire gay community, because you could do one thing that pleases one faction and it will piss off another part. But if you can try to cater for as many different parts of that community as you can.
Disney, please do not cast Todrick Hall in any movie. Please, we don't want that. Please don't.
please.
Yeah, no.
Well, I think.
But would you be happy with that? Would that please you more, or do you?
The best thing, I mean, the best apology is change behavior. I just think Disney is doing something bad with themselves by not acknowledging and just saying and owning up to saying, "Hey, we fucked up," and that's all you have to say. Like that's it. Like because at least this, you're acting like Babar is literally sitting on your fucking couch, like people, and he's not going anywhere. And that's my problem is by ignoring this thing, you're addressing it, but you're also ignoring it. And you're trying to shove Babar.
But in 10 years, most people are not going to be thinking about Brer Rabbit and that movie. It's just not, I hate to say I agree with you, Jay, but from a business standpoint, there's no money in that. There's no reason to do that. That's going to open up a whole new can of worms for them that they don't want.
I think right now they're trying to thread the needle. There's a psychotic governor that, hell bent on trying to out Trump. Like right now, allegedly because of that politics, they're losing their over 50s demographic. Right now, it's better to just bury it and get it out of the way and move on. I
mean,
people forget fast
over time anyway, but
people forget fast. And this is why I tell businesses, this is why from the onset, you're inclusive. So 30 years down the line, you don't have to play catch up.
You look good. If
you start from the beginning or an early standpoint of saying, we're going to be inclusive, we're going to be tolerant and that kind of stuff, then you're not going, oh my gosh, which happens to me a lot when I have organizations reaching out to me during Black History Month saying, can you write us a statement for Black History Month? And I go, no, hire Black people and they can write it for you.
Yeah.
Do it early so you don't play catch up.
No, I agree with y'all. I really do, especially with the whole business thing. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
Yeah. I want to talk about what happened those last couple of days at Splash Mountain at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
And I've been open about this. I said it a long time ago. You can miss Splash Mountain and go, oh my God, that was a good ride. I liked it. And not be a racist. Okay. That's just my standpoint. Yeah. I'm one person of color. That's just my standpoint. You can ride Splash Mountain on its last day and go, oh, I grew up with this ride. I'm going to miss it.
Yes.
And not be a racist. And you had people on both sides of the spectrum, from the crazy MAGA people out there in funeral dresses and having shrines and ofrendas in front of the damn mountain, to the other people who were saying, if you ride this ride today, you are racist. If someone takes a picture of the crowd outside and you're in that picture, I'm going to label you a racist. And like with everything today, the truth is right there in the middle. I can't stand that. And I expect MAGA people to be crazy. I don't want you on the other end of the spectrum, the reasonable people, to go the opposite end and be just as crazy, because you're not doing us any help. Stop.
Yeah. So as you know, I posted a picture. It was somewhat trolling, shall we say? Really, it was satire. Like, it had a bunch of Jan 6 people climbing up the mountain. Like, it was the MAGA flags. All right. Okay. But
it was a
here's
good
the
one.
thing.
I'm not going to lie
Here's
to
the
you.
thing. Here's the thing, right? I know that people just wanted to ride their ride that they liked when they was kids, right? So
Yeah.
here's the thing, and I speak to anybody that saw my post, saw some of Scott's posts. Scott got labelled a racist for taking the piss out of racists because there's an 88 in his name, in his Twitter handle. Oh, 88, that means HH. Oh, this guy's a Nazi anyway. All this weird, like, and this is not the first time this has happened, right? But here's the thing, okay? There was pearl clutching, people going, "Oh, you can't finger a terrorist attack with people going to a ride on their last day." And it's like, I know that there's people that aren't racist, that are happy that Tiana's come in, that just wanted to ride that ride one more time on its last day. However, if you see a picture by me or you see a picture by Scott or anyone else, and for whatever reason you get a little bit triggered and you start getting a bit defensive, maybe question your reasons why you're so upset about that, me posting that, and why maybe what your real reasons for going to that ride on its last day was. Because you had 2.5 years notice to go on that. So you could have gone anytime and you could have made peace with your final ride anytime. Why did you so enthusiastically have to go on the last day and then jump on Twitter and defend that decision? If you're not one of them people, if like you say, Chris, there's people, that's fine. You're not going to be offended by my picture because you know that it's just taking the piss.
Right.
It's just a shit post. But if there's other people that are getting a bit upset by it, a bit triggered by it, question why. And then I had someone, I won't name them, but they said, they asked an earnest question, but they were like, have you seen Song of the South? Like, I haven't made a decision on that film because I've not seen it myself. And I basically said, you shouldn't, as a white person, you don't need to see a film to make a decision to decide whether you think it's racist or not. It's not down to you because you're not the subject of the offense. It's not your decision to make.
And it's important to realize that, again, not one black person speaks for every black person or person of color. We call it the Jesse Jackson effect. It happened a lot in the 90s where, well, Jesse Jackson said, and we would go, we don't care about Jesse Jackson.
Black people.
Yeah, we don't care.
He's the king of black people.
I saw people, well, this black person on Twitter likes the movie. Why don't you like it? Well, they don't speak for us if they're even really a person of color because they always pick accounts out there. And I've seen Song of the South a couple of times. And there were times I went, ooh, that's not good. That's not, Now, if I show it to my mother, who is 76 years old and grew up during the civil rights era and whose grandmother was a slave, she's going to see it very differently. So we're a whole community. And I say this all the time. When a lot of people come together and say, this is offensive and it hurts us, even if I don't feel the same way, it's my job as a decent person to go, I understand. How can we fix this? Period. Not get offended, not make it about me, not go, well, I like the movie. I go, oh my gosh, you're telling me that hurts you. And I care about you and I care about your feelings and your well-being as a person. So how can I help? Period. Dash.
The narrative that was being pushed, and it's been repeatedly pushed by people that somehow see themselves as somewhat a little bit moderate, is that there was no problem with that ride. There was no problem with that movie until 2020.
That's the way things go.
To which I pulled out that favorite episode of American Dad, Family Land from whenever that was, 2014.
Yeah,
where, we've talked about it on the show before, where it's like this ride, it's a metaphor for a slave, and it 100% is, and it's not. it's nothing new. It's been everyone's known for a long time that ride, 100%. That's the topic,
Well, considering Disney pulled the movie off the shelves in the 90s, Disney knew in the 90s, like, ooh, we can't show this movie anymore.
There were problems with it since before it came out. They had to rewrite the entire script because of the words that were.
Like I said, Walt went to the head of the NAACP and said, what do you think about this movie? And the head was like, no, don't do this.
No.
And there were other people of color who were like,
they actually came to Walt. They wanted to see it. Walt wouldn't let them see it.
Yeah. Now, here's my question. Here's one thing that I found
when the shit.
One thing I found interesting that no one's mentioned really no one's talked about Tony Baxter and his role in this. Is he a good guy now? Is he a bad guy now? It's his ride, right?
I already know. No.
What's up with Tony Baxter?
No. I have been on record several times saying that was sketchy as hell. I mean, if you look at Tony Baxter and how he grew up in the South around the time civil rights era was going on. He wanted we had Dixie Landings. He wanted to put in a land called Dixieland. I mean, he also stole his first ride from his mentor, but that's like a whole nother thing. That's shady as hell.
But the other thing is,
he was a company man.
Like sort of doing a both sides thing, like seeing both points of view.
One last thing, Tommy. Hold up. Also, not to mention that he went on a ride very similar that Six Flags had back in the day in Georgia. He also might have plagiarized it.
Yeah. What I was going to say was seeing both sides of it, right? Despite seeing both sides in terms of people like it's a beloved childhood ride, blah, blah, blah. When whatever Imagineer it wasn't Tony Baxter. It was someone, former Imagineer, was like, oh, the ride's closing. Here's like a different layout, right? And here's the name we had for it for that week. To me, it's still incredibly jarring to see on black and white on page Song of the South ride, and me thinking, why did they ever think this was a good idea? Why did they think this was a good idea?
In the 90s, mentioned it in several back in the day, 90s. They mentioned that it is from Song of the South. Like they mentioned,
it had a working title, Song of the South Ride, and why would you think that was a good idea to build that ride? Thing,
from what I hear is they did go to the NAACP, but the NAACP was like, it's fine. But if you look at what the black community was going through at the same time, the crack epidemic and also AIDS was ravaging the community. So I'm pretty sure they were just like, what the fuck are you guys coming to us for?
I mean, there's a reason why Uncle Remus is not in the ride. They wanted to put Uncle Remus in there at some point, and someone said at some point, don't put him in the damn ride, put the frog in there. And he's the stand-in. Stupid. Rare frog. And then, but I just thought that sounded interesting that Tony Baxter kind of got this, not a pass, but his name kind of disappeared. And it's funny, people go, oh yeah, we'll take it down. But instead, they should put up Western River Expedition, which is filled with racist caricatures of Native Americans.
Or do Pocahontas, which is basically Michael Eisner's Song of the South moment.
Have we learned nothing?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely. You're just moving it from one people to be mad at it to another.
But someone posted some tweet, and it was a very much tongue tweet, but look, if they'd only built a Western blah 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 expedition, then we wouldn't have got Big Thunder Mountain. We wouldn't have got Splash Mountain, blah blah blah. And it was just like, oh my god, it woulda, shoulda, coulda.
It's just fucking thing. It was the same fucking thing. Yeah,
but let's be honest, right? Let's be honest, right? So let's say they took a character. I literally don't know nothing about Song of the South other than the obvious connotations. But let's say they took characters that were similar to characters from that film, but they just invented this rabbit that was called Fluffy, and they just invented this fox that was called Dave the Fox or whatever. People this week still would have been pissed and mad that they were shutting their precious ride that they rode from childhood.
Even more
that
so.
Still would happen.
We see that.
If there wasn't racist connotations.
The conversation would be, original IP is dead. Blah, 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 it would just be a different outrage. It's just we're getting that element that.
Well, here's a good question then. Here's a good thought exercise. What rides at, we'll say, Disney World are off limits? What's the ET of Disney World? Like Haunted Mansion, I'm guessing, is off limits. Don't touch it. No IP.
Haunted Mansion's off limits. Pirates of the Caribbean's off limits. Peter Pan is off limits.
Well, they put IP in
Carousel of Progress. Carousel of Progress should be.
Do you mean I'm talking about getting rid of and just wiping, getting away, completely throwing the thing away?
Yeah.
So Pirates is still there. They retroactively saved Pirates by turning it into a major movie franchise.
Well, and Ryan, apparently now there are cats inside Carousel of Progress. You see the video of the cat inside Carousel of Progress?
That was cool.
We just need to give that back to Disneyland. Give that back to Disneyland.
But that was the cat from Lightyear.
That should be untouchable. That should be.
I agree. But they should update it.
They really should.
Yeah. What else is off limits at Disney World?
I would say for me,
Tower of Terror,
theme parks. So what?
Spaceship Earth?
Well, like there's a few of us that are just starting a 1 or 2 person campaign to get Tower of Terror changed to Muppets Tower of Terror, right?
Who said that?
100%. I'm deadly serious.
Who
deadly
said
serious.
That?
I said it, but it's part of a it was a part of people were talking about like it was some flippant thing, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, I've always wanted like Muppets Tower of Terror and blah blah blah," and like it just people, it's just this thing that's not got legs. But for me, no basic theme is untouchable, and if a ride ceases to become relevant, kill it, get rid of it. I don't care.
What
I really
about
don't.
Like a movie franchise out of
Like
it.
you're going to a theme park, you're not going to a museum. If they want to open the Disney Museum of Theme Parks in Frisco, Texas, by all means, when I'm going to the Universal Kids Park, I might stop by. But a theme park should be a theme park; it shouldn't be a museum.
Is Universal? Let's talk about
relevant.
Let's talk about this now. Is Universal setting themselves up for failure with this park in Texas? I feel like part of me is like, people are going to walk in there expecting Islands of Adventure or Universal Hollywood, and they're going to get something very different. And a portion of them, especially the Disney people, are going to go, well, this isn't as good as what you said it would be, or this isn't as good as Universal Orlando.
I think people like yourself, Chris, they've got a 3-year-old, soon to have another little one. In about 3 years' time, when you've got a 6-year-old and you've got a 3-year-old, are going to go, I love my Universal Orlando resort, but I need something where I can really take the little kids and just let them have their own time. And I think that place will be absolutely perfect for those young families. Absolutely perfect.
And people hear Frisco, Texas, and they go, why? The amount of, like, Houston is the 3rd largest city in America, and Dallas is huge. There's a lot of people in Central Texas. A lot. They don't need tourists to make that park a success.
I started watching some, when these like YouTube videos all play, and it's like the world's busiest airport or something like that, and it's not Heathrow, it's not JFK, it's like the one in Georgia,
Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson.
Atlanta, Hartsfield, because like pretty much like the 80% of the American population are within so many hours plane journey of this airport, and this is why it's the most popular one. So you look at something like, obviously those similar hub airports in Texas and stuff like that. You're probably looking at a net that's cast for that theme park. That's probably, there's so many million people within a 2-hour or a 4-hour car journey or whatever it may be, right, that it's got that same kind of net.
And those population centers in Houston and Dallas are growing. They're getting even larger with people moving to Texas away from California and Colorado in the Midwest where it's cold up here. Those are just growing exponentially. So it makes perfect sense to put that park in Central Texas and just let the locals go crazy.
Right. Where else are you thinking somewhere like where you live, Chris? Where is there an in-between between Texas and Orlando?
There's not really.
Potentially
it would be maybe Atlanta, but land in Atlanta is not easy to come by. And that's
still within certain travel of Orlando anyway, isn't it?
But then again, Texas
that's why I was asking if
huge. Texas is massive. It's bigger than most European countries. So it's, again, the amount of people you can get from Texas to go to that park. In the Midwest, we're all here, but we're separated by lakes and rivers, and Texas is just flat. Everything is right there, and you can just get on the highway and drive there.
Yeah, it makes
also
sense.
Look at it, if depending on how much they charge, people will be chill with it. Legoland's like what, 70
80 bucks
to go into. If you keep it at like that.
What?
Same thing with Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens is about $100, and shit, you can come back for the rest of the year if you just buy for one ticket. So if you keep it like that, and that will kind of like temper expectations, as opposed to people who are driving not even just driving, flying and making a whole pilgrimage to Orlando, they expect that. But if it's like in your backyard, I don't expect much out of Busch Gardens because I'm not traveling to it.
I think people need to be quite realistic in what they are actually building. I believe I did the measurements on it. I think it's at most it will be about 40 acres fully built. I can't remember the exact numbers, but we're talking like the equivalent to maybe 4, maybe 5 Zeus landings maximum. You know, it's not going to be massive. Like people started doing their armchair Imagineering. Oh, they could build this and they could build this and they build this. It's not. It's going to be a bunch of flat rides. I would liken it more to. I don't think you've been to any, Chris, but like a UK theme park like Legoland, where
it's Dorney or
Yeah, you know, you've got loads of cute little indoor dark rides and flying theaters and cute stuff like that. It's
Small
not,
thing.
and it can't be, as you said, it's a different market of Universal fans. They don't want to take people away from Orlando. They're trying to supplement what they've got.
It's definitely a bold strategy. And Universal has seen something in their research, something in their numbers, something in their data that has pointed to this investment. This won't be cheap, and this will still be probably at least $500 million to build this park there. So from a business standpoint, it's bold, because Disney would never do something like this. They would never dream of scaling down and going to St. Louis or Kansas City and putting a park like they wanted to do years ago. So it's either going to be a huge success or a massive failure, and there's going to be no in between. But it helps to have Minions and DreamWorks and all these IPs to work off of.
But I think it is a place, like I think we talked about it before, where we said, like, you know, people are like, oh, why don't they build this? Like, they're building another little tiny like Minions ride, blah blah blah. And we've said, well, it doesn't matter, because 2 little rides and the merch is still sold on. So they've built a tiny little Minions land where there's going to be 1 ride, and then there's going to be a new ride opposite the street. And that they haven't had to physically take up much real estate, but they're going to be selling the merch. So it doesn't have to be like these crazy, massive things. It will still, like, it's going to be a place where they can put a lot of their slightly smaller DreamWorks miniature brands in one, where it's not, they don't, you know.
Well, and you better believe there's going to be advertisements for enjoying your 3-day weekend at our little park. How about spending Christmas at Epic Universe? Or how about coming this summer to Epic Universe and seeing it's going to be plastered with Universal Orlando advertisements. So, if you had 1 fun day here, come to Orlando and have 5 fun days. And maybe you can get a discount if you went to that park 100%. First.
But a lot of discussion that I've seen has been about, well, Disney, this is like, Disney. I've heard through a friend that some of the reaction from a quite high up person in Merlin is that they were pretty, shall we say, deflated, because they'd done a lot of work prepping for possibly a Legoland resort or something in that general area in Texas. And now it's like overnight, it's killed all the work that they've done. You know, they'd spent years doing research, market research, focus groups, whatever it may be.
And that may be why Universal dropped this thing so fast. They knew Merlin was close to pulling the trigger on something.
Absolutely. You know, and it is it's that I cited Legoland Windsor where I live in UK, and it is a direct threat to that kind of level of park. Yeah. You know, people talk about Six Flags and all that. It's not. It's that family market, small park. You know. That's the threat. And if Disney, it's great. If we want this to do well, right? Because then Disney might open up a little small Disney thing that's suitable to like a young family like yours, Chris. And it might not be necessarily that you've got to fly all the way to Orlando.
No, I don't see.
You never know.
Disney is
unlikely, because the wheel's not even.
They're having trouble getting people in the gate.
Bring back Disney Quest.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
They tried to do that back in the day in the 90s. Like, they did try to, branch out into the regional market, but it was nothing like just definitively putting down the park.
Yeah.
Because whenever they wanted to put down the park, they wanted to do it big with a whole resort and things like that. And that's why you get things like Disney Quest and that one traveling carnival they did for like a fucking year. So I think Universal did the right thing here.
But like, Twitter tells me that Eisner was the best CEO. And there's you telling me.
I mean, they probably should have done it back in the 90s. They probably should have. But I think right now we're seeing numbers below 2019 numbers for Disney. They've got to get them in the door in Orlando first. Universal's going the opposite direction. So, and Disney has the data. They have this traveling Disney on Ice show. They know in every city where their characters are popular. They know in every city what shows sell out for Disney on Ice, what characters sell the most merchandise at the merchant. They were just here in Indianapolis for a week. That's the way I know this. So they have all this data from different markets all over the country saying, oh my God, we're really hot in Denver. People love us in Denver. We're selling out every show in Denver. And in Chicago, we're not so much. So they have that data they can work off of, but they're having trouble getting them in the door in Orlando right now. They've, like I said, like I warned you all years ago, this strategy of penny pinching and nickel and diming will come back to bite them in the ass when a recession happens. We are staring down the mouth of a recession later on this year, and Disney is going to be tits up. They're going to be screwed for those parks.
They can just
now.
They'll finally turn on the AP button and start selling APs again. Not that stupid Pixie Pass that.
But they spent the last 3 years screwing over APs. So that goodwill has been. Those people have gone, and they took that same money and gave it to Universal. That money ain't coming back. That's hard to get back. Disney has screwed their reputation with so many people in the last 3 years. Short-sighted.
So,
chasing pennies and losing dollars.
The question for you: there's rumors of additional capex money going into the parks, etc., etc. And on a couple of shows back, Chris, you talked about how, as far as Disney World management, it was a 5-alarm fire, and they was shouting to management in Anaheim, Burbank, that we're getting worried about Epic Universe. Do you think that call was heard now that Iger's back? Will we see some movement?
I haven't heard back yet, and mostly because what I keep hearing from Epic is not good. Like the budgets keep getting cut because interest rates are going up and spending is going down for consumer spending. So it sounds like that management at Comcast is getting nervous about Epic a little bit. So the last I heard, when it came true a week or so later that Disney was ready to turn the fire hose on, then they got cold feet real quick. So I haven't heard otherwise. And the plans are always there. We talk about, they had a plan for this, they had a plan for that. They have a plan to replace the castle somewhere in the archives down deep if they need it. But I don't see Disney doing that until after Epic opens and they look for changes in travel patterns in bookings.
There was a rumor saying that there might be a merger between Warner Brothers Discovery and Comcast or NBC Universal.
No, they're too leveraged. NBC Universal has too much debt. That's not going to happen. And there's not enough value. There's not enough value in WB right now. That thing is it's still tanking. It's not done tanking yet. So that's a massive, that is like, I don't even know, $45-50 billion right now. And again, interest rates are through the roof. No one's buying anything right now, acquisition-wise. M&As had their heyday from 2020 to 2022, and it's on pause right now for M&As, especially in entertainment.
Well, consolidation can only go so far, really, can't it?
Yeah, not to mention you got to fight the SEC. You got to fight the FCC rather, and the SEC to get those approved. Those mergers approved. That's a lot of money to get those two media networks approved. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. I just don't. That's too much debt for Comcast to take on. And Comcast is still a cable business. They still are a very volatile business, and Peacock is not exactly burning the house down either.
Having said all that, record profits or record earnings, I can't remember which, I only had a quick glance earlier, for the theme parks division today. I think they've added, for Universal, they've added like an extra $1.5 billion from last year or something crazy. Like the parks are still doing pretty well. Very well.
Yeah.
So it kind of,
And that's a product of, again, turning on the money fire hose and saying, what do the fans want? New rides? Let's give them new rides. Halloween Horror Nights? Halloween Horror Nights.
Closed Kid Zone finally.
It's funny because my mother-in-law, some kid dumped an entire bucket on her in Kid Zone, and she was not expecting it.
Oh my God.
She got blindsided. It was our first time there. We were walking through, and I went around. Like, I was like, I know what's going to happen. And this kid, like, eyeballed her from a mile away and dumped a whole bucket on her. Oh my God. She was pissed.
Oh my God. Curious George. Lawless Land. I'm going to miss it. Oh God.
I laughed my ass off. She didn't find it too funny, but I laughed my ass off.
Oh my God. It's one of those ones. That's one of those ones that I actually was more sad. I did that in Splash the same day to kind of like basically say goodbye. I felt more sad about Curious George leaving than Splash. Curious George just has so many great ways to fuck with people.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This eventual whatever we're getting, which, you know, from what I've heard and probably from what you've heard, if people are expecting some kind of like you know, D ticket, dark ride, or this or that, going to be quite disappointed. But do we think that that is a taste of things to come for this kind of Frisco park model? Because
I wouldn't bet too much on it. And again, remember, Curious George didn't suck up that much capacity park wise. It's not like Woody Woodpecker said, like a 1 hour wait every day. So what I loved about it was that I could take my kid there and she could play, and we didn't have to wait for anything. It was just, here's the kid zone. You can do water, you could do the ball pit, and I'm just going to sit, you know? Unlike the grassy area at Toontown, where apparently families are going to be picnicking and singing Kumbaya together. This was an actual attraction.
Why do you hate grass?
There you go.
This was an actual attraction that she could just go to, and there was no waiting in line. There was no height requirement. It was just show up here and throw balls and have fun. And I love that about it. So I hope whatever replaces it is that same kind of unstructured, just spontaneous, show up and chill.
I can see it being the sort of a little bit of the Legoland. There's a park here called Drayton Manor, which is really like it. They've got like a Thomas the Tank Engine kind of land, but it's lots of little tiny flat rides, like kiddie flat rides, not flat rides that we would ride, but little, you know, scaled down kiddie flat rides, just like the kind of bus going up and over type thing, or some sort of mini spinning thing. I could see him put a couple of little things like that.
The Peppa Pig Park, or like there's some Thomas the Tank Engine parks around the US.
So that like little, you know, like the mini flat ride kind of thing, just thing that it's a really small, even if it's like a 20 by 20 foot footprint, it's just, it only does about 100 kids an hour, but there's 2 or 3 of them, and it's just somewhere where you could take Aria just for you to kind of decompress while she's having lots of fun, you know?
Yeah. And that's, I mean, it was cool because, and again, with the grandparents we've been walking all day, they could sit and I can get up and play with her. Then I would sit and they would get up and play with her. And it was just as stress-free, like we don't have to wait in the line. We don't have to do anything. We can just play. As opposed to Dr. Seuss, where you just come from. Dr. Seuss, we got to wait in this line, and the trolley ride is an hour, and the Cat in the Hat is 45 minutes, yada, yada, that type of thing. So I hope it's something like that. I hope it's, and I'm sure there will be IPs and flat rides and stuff, but also just a fun zone, just an area of just lawlessness.
Yeah, I think they're not stupid, and there's anybody that sort of writes them off going, well, you know, oh, they've got rid of this and it's not going to be the same. And they're not stupid. They know what kind of thing they need to replace it with, don't they? They know what was there. They know what works.
I'm tired of trusting.
Plan this out.
I'm tired of trusting.
They didn't have to close Shrek and Kid Zone at the same time.
That's the crazy part.
There's very little for kids to do in the park now besides Minions. What else? Like that even has a height requirement. So, you know. If it's not loud, it's too like thrilling. There's not a lot in studios right now for kids.
So, sort of, kind of to segue on probably the next thing that we might want to touch on, but with this potential stand through Minions ride, which sounds like it could potentially be like a mini MIB in terms of re-rideability and it being different every time. A lot of people got to ride Mario Kart this week or the past week or so, didn't they? And there's a lot of people now saying, oh, it's really re-rideable, it's blah, blah, blah. And I've not seen too much of the same tired argument, oh, it should be a fast ride, apart from those people that that no matter what Universal do, they're so embedded in Disney that they just want to crap on it anyway. There's 2 or 3 characters we don't need to mention that went on a hate campaign that first week during the previews. Has anyone else seen anything about Nintendo World?
I think
no.
And again, I don't care about the sightlines. Don't care.
I don't care about the fucking sightlines.
But you have to, and Jay, you've been there. You've been to Hollywood. You have to go to that park to understand why that's a thing. And you just know it's different in Hollywood. You know it's not Orlando. It's different.
I haven't been.
If Disneyland were built...
Okay.
I'm going Disneyland for the first time.
If Disneyland were built on the side of a damn hill...
mountain.
We wouldn't even be... Sightlines wouldn't even be in our...
A mountain.
Like... dictionary.
But that's not what they're gunning for. They just wanted they don't care about the logic. They just want Universal to look bad. At least most of the people who started, the whole booming and
people who've never been to. And again, I'm a massive, like my daughter said, we're a Jurassic Park household here. Half of our house is dinosaurs. We are dinosaur crazy in this house. When I went to Jurassic World a couple of years ago, my daughter was like 7 months old. We flew all the way out to California with a 7-month-old to see Jurassic World the week it opened in Hollywood. I wanted to be immersed in it. I love that property. I love those dinosaurs, but I knew there's going to be a giant black tower on this side and there's going to be a transformer on this side. You just kind of have to, you just know that going into it. When you go to that park, it's not like Disney World or Universal Orlando. It's not the same. You realize that very quickly when you're literally going down an escalator down the side of a mountain for 15 minutes. It takes to get down there.
It's
almost
a fucking working studio.
But I think it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing where I've been good at doing it because I'm taking the piss. But I'll walk into a park and I'll get my camera out and I'll zoom in on something that I know that's there. We go around as we're aficionados, like pointing stuff out that we don't like. But the reality of it is, if you view the park through the lens of pretty much regular people, they're not even going to notice that. Like it's almost like regular folks have got they're short sighted, so they can't see beyond a couple of 100 feet ahead of them, which happens to be generally the perimeter of the land that they're in. And I'm guilty of not even guilty. I'm like, why should I apologize for it? When I go to a certain place, I tune stuff out because I don't care. I honestly don't care.
I want to point out that I love immersion. I love getting lost in. I love Cars Land. I don't even like cars, but I love Cars Land. I just love how the attention to detail, the small things. I love taking someone onto Main Street USA and Magic Kingdom and saying, "Where's the Contemporary Hotel?" And they go, "Oh my God, I can't see it. Where to go?" Exactly, because right now you're in 1930s America. I love immersing myself and the people I'm with in those lands. I love that when I can say, "This has disappeared and this has disappeared, and here's why." Because it adds to the value of that land. Yeah. But again, in Hollywood, you've got to turn that down a little bit because you just know it's a different situation there. I'm a sightline nerd. I hate that I can see Tower of Terror and Carthay Circle from Soarin' and DCA. I don't like that. It's bad sight lines. It draws me out of the story. But I get it.
But at Disney World, they did something where they knew that was going to be a problem with Epcot, so they changed the back of Tower of Terror to make it fit with that part of a thing. And there was one suggestion about that, the office tower. It's like, why didn't they turn it into? Is it a thwomp? Sorry, I don't. I'm
a thwomp, yeah, it's a thwomp.
Yeah. And I was like, actually, if they just put like a simple decal that there's decals that are like a frit where, like from a distance, it looks like solid image, but people would be able to sit in their office and still see out, blah, 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 right? Kind of like what they've got on the Skyliner, some of the skins, aren't they? So the gondola you can see out, but the inside you've got the image. So it's like, if that was a potential opportunity to do something like that, and it actually makes it better, then that's kind of like, why didn't they do that? But if it is someone standing there going, right, I'm going to get my zoom camera out and, oh, look, because a lot of them shots that people were posting, they were done with like zoom lens, and the lens compression makes something look way bigger, way closer than what it actually is. And
again, for those people, those Disney pixie dust snorters who love it, these sight lines, again, I can stand at Carthay, I can stand at Soren and DCA, and I can see Carthay Circle, and I can see the Tower of Terror. Explain those sightlines to me. And they'll go, Disneyland is smaller, and they don't have enough room, and they'll make excuses for it. So
Magic Kingdom has the same problem. Magic Kingdom has every theme park, every Disney theme park, besides probably Animal Kingdom, because Joe Rohde's a master, it has and even then, I think I'm 90% sure you can see, not 90% sure, you can see Spaceship Earth from from Everest.
Yeah,
so
from Blizzard Beach, we were at the top of Blizzard Beach at Summit Plummet a few weeks ago, and you could see the unthemed ass of Everest, just the steel, just sticking out like a sore thumb. Sightlines,
and let's not even talk about going into Animal Kingdom with Avatar, just this whole booty
right there, right there,
But unfortunately,
not even
some of these people are very, very, very selective, right? Okay, so I haven't made I don't care what people think. I didn't care about the barges. It didn't bother me, because I thought that lake was a boring ass lake that I went round the World Showcase and paid it no attention at all. I didn't look at the lake. It was a boring lake. It's bland, right? But the people that are pissed off about the sightlines for this and that, they also don't care that if you look across to France, trying to look across to the Eiffel Tower on the top of France, you can see the swan and dolphin, the giant freaking and it's like, either care about all the sightlines or just like suspension of disbelief. Just forget it.
Why the fuck?
I care about sightlines. I want the parks to continue to consider sightlines when and where they can. I love being immersed in the land. I love being lost in the land, and I care. Tommy, you don't care because you're not as smart as me. I'm a theme park historian, you see?
Wow.
And so it takes a level of intelligence and smartness to really get it. You just don't get it.
That really sounds like some high resolution thinking.
Jesus Christ. Every time I hear that, I just think it's just...
What was the thing you came out with the other week? It was something to do with Splash, wasn't it? Something truly horrendous. It out Joshed himself. What was it?
Oh my God.
I can't remember what it was. It was so bad.
All right, we're getting up against it. Anything else you want to talk about? What do we forget to talk about in this massive
You forgot about HHN?
News?
HHN
what? It's January. What?
All right, Alicia's got a video. She's dropped it tonight. If anyone's interested about that HHN thing in Vegas, watch her video. There we go. Done. Damn. Covered it. Sorted.
Oh, damn. Okay,
it's at Area 51.
We're not going to touch on Mickey and Minnie's. We're good?
What's not open yet?
Y'all know when I come back.
They got a better queue. Good for them.
The queue looks amazing.
But as I said, I'm
going to be gushing about that. When I do my trip report, 90% of it is going to be me gushing about that. The other 10 is probably gushing about Nintendo.
I made a tongue-in-cheek comment about Scott's pictures because they did look lovely, but I said to me it was like an advert for the Lake Nona move, because it was like, look, this is what you get when all of your Imagineers are like within 20 minutes of the park, right?
And they give a shit about the park that they're working on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's nice that Disneyland keeps getting more and more capacity, whereas we just keep replacing rides here in Florida,
replacing shit,
and never getting.
Oh, but no, Ryan, we're not allowed to talk about that because we just have so much more, even though we have the same exact attraction count.
Oh yeah.
Oh my fucking God.
Jay, when are you going to California?
Oh my God, lick my lock cutter, you bastards. Anyway, I'm going next month.
Here's a question:
is Nintendo going to be open? Are you sure it's going to be open still?
Nintendo's going to be open. Fuck it. They just spent $1 billion on that thing.
Well, no, I'm saying isn't it still technical, quote unquote? I
have no idea, but in March, I got people who got people. I'm the same guy who got Club 33 with Tim's. I'm good.
Can I ask a question? Mickey and Minnie's is about to open. Will that be sponsored? Will it be like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway sponsored by Humira or something like that? Because I'm told on Twitter that this tradition, like the Disney company has always had sponsorship, and it helps Disney keep the lights on, and it helps them build these great rides. And without sponsorship, these rides would be nothing. So, like, why isn't Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opening with a sponsor?
Like, because nobody wanted to put up the money.
Take it.
It's not too late.
Nobody put up the money for it. Anybody can put their name on anything. You just have to pay.
Enterprise was already busy doing one. They're just like, hey, we cannot commit to a second one. You know who could have did that one? Amtrak. Call up Amtrak. Get Amtrak on it. Get Amtrak on it. Get your $300 2-hour train ride.
Do we want to talk about the grass?
Here we go on this bullshit. I don't like it, but I get it. Fuck it.
What do you mean you get it?
I don't like it. I get it. That park is cramped. And after spending time going to Magic Kingdom, a park that I just hate because of I hate it. It's just too much. But Disneyland is cramped. Kids need a place to run around at. I think they should have added you could have added a jungle gym or something like that, but I get it.
Can I ask a question?
Stand there, do something. I don't know, but I get it. They need some places.
You think it's actually meant for people to run around in? For kids.
Well, let me tell you what's happening here. They're actually making the ground softer in more areas because of how many fights that are going on.
Oh my god!
Right. So what was there? What was there before? Concrete.
No, it was a fountain.
A fountain.
It was the Roger Rabbit fountain. They had 2 fountains in Toontown.
Can you sit on the fountain?
Yes, there was seating all the way around it. Yes.
Yeah.
Right, but can you sit on this grass or whatever you're talking about now?
Yeah, but
all right.
You could have just
over
put
30. Have you tried sitting on the
grass
grass for more than 10 minutes at a time?
I can sit on the grass for more than 10 minutes. What's wrong with you? You need to be doing more stretching, Chris.
I'm an athlete. I can't do that. My sitting days are over on flat surfaces.
Honestly, if they opened up like a little go-go squeeze stand, like they did at Epcot when they were sponsoring, I would be fine with it.
Listen, I'm just. They can take this fountain if it means our Muppets fountain in front of the Muppet Vision stays. Because I was scared they were going to get rid of that too.
They're not going to get rid of that thing.
But for a while, it was just gone, and it was filled.
Yeah. Well, when they build the Muppets Megaland that I'm single-handedly trying to campaign for, like in Hollywood Studios, for me, I won't stop until most of Hollywood Studios is Muppets themed, guys.
Good.
Oh my God.
Right? Let's make Rocket Roller Coaster Muppets.
Muppets Tower of Terror. Muppets Rocket Roller Coaster.
One Muppet Man's Dream. I'd be down for that.
Yes.
Mupptastic.
Oh my God.
The nighttime show.
We need to make the alley that used to be the Incredibles meet and greet. Make that Muppets.
Oh man.
Oh my God. That barbecue restaurant can easily be themed
former Pixar place.
What could you turn Lightning McQueen's in? How could that be Muppets? What kind of show could that be?
You just make Lightning McQueen with felt. Like just put felt
remember
around him
in the Muppets Take Manhattan when Kermit gets run over by a car?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. There we go.
Oh man.
You have a car base. You have a car Muppet.
Before you go, I want to give the most important information of all. So listen up real quick. Get your pen and paper out. Get your phone out. The website is target.com.
This motherfucker right here.
Target.com.
Don't you buy him nothing. Don't you buy him no Pampers, no wipes, no formula.
I spunked all my money on cruises and now can't afford a baby. That's the full address, guys. You get it. It's Target / I spunked all my money on cruises and now can't afford a baby.
Don't let
Target.
Chris fool you. He got all of Aria's clothes saved. He was waiting for this. I know how.
But it's a boy. That's the thing. Is I can't put pink socks on a boy.
You'll make it work, you cheap bastard. You'll make it work.
Target.com.
You'll slap a Pikachu sticker on it to cover up whatever.
Target.com /gift-registry/gift/
shameless
Lincoln Wakefield.
This is some shameless.
Lincoln like the president. Wakefield. Our son's name is Lincoln.
My God.
I'll give it to you one more time. Target.com /gift-registry/gift/Lincoln Wakefield. Please, I need Pampers. I need formula. I need a car seat. Pacifiers are big. Bottles are big.
He got money.
This kid will be here in 7 weeks.
All these cruises he be going on.
This kid will be here in 7 weeks.
This man told me this kid told me that he was going to be down here in Florida at some beach house. Don't you give him nothing. Don't you give him?
We had a 2-bedroom suite, first of all.
Okay, Jalen.
And that's
manscaped.com
/e-ticket-report.
Jalen, if you were smart, you would have just dropped a certain word and then I could have just bleeped out that whole address. But instead, you started to rabbit on. I could have fixed that for you, but no.
No.
I'm not encouraging you. Please don't. I don't want to do the bleeping.
I'm going to go to his chairman. I'm going to go to Drake. And when I talk to Drake about the way that
we don't claim Drake. We don't claim Drake.
He is the chairman of the board. Okay, I don't know. Hey, I don't know.
And even if there's something that's not on the registry that you still want to buy us, you can still do that. Like
My
you can,
God.
if it's not even on there, you
Oh
can still
my
get it
God.
for us.
This man always likes to talk about how he's got a business and all these clients, motherfucker.
I got kids. I got kids.
Guys, and he was telling me the other day how he's really interested
You
in going on an
spent $15,000
MSC cruise.
Oh,
so if
hell
anyone
no.
wants to send him gift
God, no.
vouchers for an MSC cruise,
No.
by all means.
Motherfucker, I will give you a 12-pack of Pampers and maybe half a thing of wipes.
That works.
I got 15
That's good for a couple of days.
Okay. That's
My
all
kids
you
are
get.
starving,
And
guys. My
maybe-
kids are starving. My daughter didn't eat dinner tonight. So I hope,
Wow.
please donate to the
Wow.
registry. I need
Wow.
it.
Yeah, because child labour,
What did
you made her
eat,
do a
Chris?
trip
What did
report.
you
That's
eat,
why she
Chris?
didn't eat dinner.
What did you eat?
I
What
have
did
some
you eat?
pork spare ribs I'm going to make after we hang
Of
up here.
course you do. I bet you got Eric and them eating nothing but like oatmeal and gruel and leftover Captain stale ass crunch.
Okay,
Well, I mean-
right. Okay, one more thing, Ryan. You're going to give us your trip report.
Well, we're
it's
out
about
of time.
Oh my
Tommy, where can we
God.
find you online?
Don't give him
Tommy
nothing.
Hawkins on Twitter and Instagram, and yeah, that's it.
Jay, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at TCJalen, and I'm also starting a new campaign called Stop Light Skins. Wakefield is getting too far, and I'm so tired of these waffle colored motherfuckers coming in here and doing this shit to us. They're making us look bad, okay? I'm tired. I'm so tired. Don't give him nothing.
Ryan, give me your AFC and NFC championship predictions, please.
Oh, I got Bengal. Well, you mean the winners going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
You mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Bengals versus
Say it.
No.
49ers.
49ers. Okay. Two young quarterbacks in that game, so we'll see. Who wins that game?
Bengals.
Bengals. I hope you're right. Ryan, where can we find you?
I'm at Imagineer6 on Twitter.
And you can find me at target.com/gift-registry-/gift/Lincoln,
Put
like the
music in
president,
there anyway. So.
Wakefield. That's all we have for this week. We'll see you all next time.